The legacy of Earth's defiance. Commander Sarah Chen stood at the viewport of the retrofitted merchant vessel, Phoenix Dawn, watching the swirling nebula clouds paint the darkness with hues of purple and blue. The distant stars seemed to mock their predicament, a ragtag fleet of human survivors, carrying what remained of Earth's military might after the collective's devastating assault. "Commander, we've got movement on the long-range scanners," Lieutenant Rodriguez reported from his station, his fingers dancing across the holographic interface. 3 collective warships, Vanquisher class. Sarah's jaw tightened. The collective, a confederation of advanced alien species who had deemed humanity too dangerous to join their galactic community. Their solution? Attempted genocide. But they had underestimated humanity's tenacity, and more importantly, their spite. Status of the civilian ships? Sarah asked, her voice steady despite the tension building in her chest. All 17 vessels are maintaining formation, Commander. Engineering reports the salvaged collective drive cores are performing within acceptable parameters. Sarah allowed herself a small smile. The collective never expected humans to not only understand their technology but improve upon it. Their arrogance would be their undoing. Status of Project Phoenix? Dr. Emily Wong, their lead scientist, stepped forward from her observation post. Her usually immaculate lab coat showed signs of countless hours of work. "The integration is complete, Commander. The hybrid human collective weapon systems are online. We've managed to increase efficiency by 47% compared to their original specifications." Sarah nodded. This was humanity's greatest strength, the ability to take, adapt, and improve. While the collective relied on their centuries-old technological superiority, humans had spent their entire history learning, stealing, and refining the tools of their would-be conquerors. "Lieutenant, begin broadcast on all frequencies, collective protocols included." Sarah straightened her uniform, a patchwork of Earth military symbols mixed with salvaged tech. "This is Commander Sarah Chen of the Human Resistance Fleet. You called us primitive. You tried to exterminate us. But here we are, using your own weapons against you, improved by the very creatures you deemed unworthy." The bridge crew watched as the collective ships adjusted their course, moving to intercept. Sarah's lips curved into a predatory smile. "Dr. Wong, are the modifications to their shield frequencies complete?" "Yes, Commander. Their own defense systems won't recognize our weapons' signatures until it's too late." Sarah took a deep breath, remembering the billions lost when the collective first struck Earth. They had expected humanity to lie down and die. Instead, they had created something far more dangerous, humans with nothing left to lose and everything to avenge. "All ships, battle formations. Civilian vessels, maintain distance per Protocol 7. Her voice carried the weight of command, tempered by months of desperate fights and narrow escapes. "Today, we show the collective why humanity survived every catastrophe our world threw at us. Today, we remind them why they should have feared us from the start." The Phoenix Dawn's engines hummed with power stolen from their would-be executioners. Around them, the other ships of their makeshift fleet moved with practiced precision, each vessel a testament to human ingenuity and determination. "Weapons free," Sarah commanded, her eyes fixed on the approaching collective ships. "Let's show them what happens when you corner a species that turned survival into an art form." The void of space lit up with energy weapons fire, but not in the precise, methodical way the collective was known for. The human ships moved erratically, unpredictably, using maneuvers that defied conventional tactical doctrine. They had learned that survival sometimes meant throwing away the rulebook entirely. As the battle began, Sarah Chen allowed herself a moment of grim satisfaction. The collective had wanted to write humanity's epitaph. Instead, they had written the prologue to their own downfall. Shadow of retribution. The aftermath of the battle left debris scattered across the sector, a glittering field of twisted metal and shattered dreams. But aboard the Phoenix Dawn, Commander Chen's crew worked with renewed purpose. They had bloodied the collective's nose, but the real war was just beginning. "Damage report," Sarah called out, watching as repair drones swarmed around a breach in their port hull. Chief Engineer Marcus Kane wiped grease from his hands as he approached the command station. His dark skin was covered in scorch marks, evidence of his hands-on approach to keeping their stolen technology running. "Those modifications to the collective's weapons worked better than expected, Commander. Maybe a little too well. We're seeing some stress fractures in the focusing arrays. Can we replicate the effect?" Sarah asked, already thinking of the next engagement. Marcus grinned, the expression making him look years younger despite his graying hair. "Better than that. We've figured out how to increase the yield by another 30%. The collective builds everything with such rigid specifications, they never consider pushing past their optimal parameters." Dr. Wong joined them, her tablet displaying complex equations and energy signatures. "The real breakthrough isn't just the weapons," she said excitedly. "Every piece of collective tech we salvage teaches us more about their fundamental assumptions about physics, engineering, everything. They've been stuck in the same technological paradigm for centuries." Sarah nodded, understanding the implications. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't just their ability to adapt collective technology, it was their willingness to question every assumption, to try things that the collective would consider impossible or irrational. "Commander," Lieutenant Rodriguez interrupted, his voice tense. "We're picking up a distress signal. It's from a human colony. Theta 7. The bridge fell silent. Theta 7 was supposed to be hidden, one of the secret outposts established after the initial collective assault. Its discovery meant they had a leak, or worse, the collective was better at tracking them than they'd thought. "How many civilians?" Sarah asked, already knowing she couldn't ignore the call. "Initial readings suggest around 3,000. The collective hasn't landed troops yet, they're following their standard protocol of orbital bombardment to soften resistance." Sarah's mind raced through options. The Phoenix Dawn and her fleet were barely recovered from their last engagement. Taking on another collective battle group now was risky. But 3,000 lives. "Dr. Wong, how close are we to implementing Project Shadowcast?" Emily's eyes widened. "The cloaking system? We've only tested it in simulations. The power requirements alone. Can we do it?" Sarah interrupted. The scientist hesitated, then straightened her shoulders. "Yes. It won't be pretty, and we'll have to shut down all non-essential systems, but, yes." "Marcus, how long to get the fleet ready?" The engineer was already running calculations. 6 hours for full implementation across all ships. "We'll have to modify the power distribution networks, and there's a real risk of overload." "We have 4 hours, Sarah declared. "Lieutenant, plot a course to Theta 7. Emily, Marcus, make it work. We're not losing another colony." As her crew scattered to their tasks, Sarah pulled up the tactical display. The collective ships at Theta 7 would be expecting a frontal assault, the only kind of attack their doctrine prepared them for. They wouldn't be ready for a fleet that could turn invisible, striking from impossible angles with weapons that shouldn't exist. "Send word to all ships," she ordered. "Operation Phantom Strike begins in 4 hours. Anyone who can't make the modifications in time will provide rear support." Sarah watched as her makeshift fleet began its preparations. Every ship, every crew member had a story of loss, a reason to fight. The collective thought they were bringing order to chaos by attempting to eliminate humanity. Instead, they had created something unprecedented, a species that had taken their own advanced technology and twisted it into something new, something unpredictable. "Theta 7, hold on," Sarah whispered to herself. "We're coming to remind the collective why humanity was never meant to be caged." The Phoenix Dawn's engines flared to life, leading their fleet toward another impossible mission. But as Sarah had learned, impossible was just another word for something humanity hadn't gotten around to doing yet. Ghosts in the machine. The approach to Theta 7 was silent, almost peaceful. The Phoenix Dawn led her fleet through the void, their modified collective drives running dark. Through the viewport, Sarah could see the enemy ships in orbit, 5 Vanquisher-class destroyers and their support vessels, methodically reducing the colony's defenses to rubble. Shadowcast systems holding stable, Marcus reported, his voice tight with concentration. Though I don't know for how long. We're pushing these reactors way beyond their design limits. Dr. Wong monitored her own readings, making minute adjustments. The collective sensors are scanning right through us. They're so focused on looking for their own technology signatures that they can't see how we've changed them. Sarah allowed herself a moment of satisfaction. The collective's greatest weakness was their inability to imagine technology being used in ways they hadn't approved. Their rigid thinking made them predictable. All ships, maintain formation, Sarah commanded. Remember your targets. Hit hard, hit fast, and don't give them time to adapt their protocols. The fleet moved into position, surrounding the collective ships in a three-dimensional web of invisible predators. On the surface of Theta 7, occasional flashes of light showed where the colony's remaining defenses still held out. Engineering reports ready, Marcus announced. Though if we don't act soon, these reactors are going to announce our presence for us. Sarah nodded. All ships, on my mark. 3, 2, 1. Execute. The human fleet materialized like ghosts becoming solid, their modified weapons already firing. The collective ships, caught completely by surprise, took devastating hits before their automated defense systems could even register the threat. Their shields are adapting. Rodriguez called out. They're trying to compensate for our weapon signatures. Switch to pattern Omega, Sarah ordered. Don't let them get a lock on any single configuration. The battle transformed into a dance of light and shadow. Human ships phased in and out of visibility, their weapons constantly shifting frequencies and power levels. The collective ships tried to respond, but their programming couldn't keep up with the chaotic, ever-changing assault. Commander. Dr. Wong's voice cut through the tactical chatter. I'm detecting massive energy buildup in their flagship. They're preparing to jump to FTL. Sarah's eyes narrowed. They're running? No, Marcus interjected, his face pale as he studied his readings. They're calling for reinforcements. That energy signature, they're using their drive core to send a quantum burst transmission. If that signal gets out. Sarah understood immediately. A quantum burst would alert every collective ship in the sector. They'd lose their advantage of surprise, and with it, any hope of saving Theta 7. Can we stop it? Dr. Wong's fingers flew across her console. Yes, but... Commander, I have an idea. It's crazy, but... Those are my favorite kind, Sarah interrupted. What do you need? Their quantum transmission technology, we can hijack it. Turn it against them. But we'll have to drop our cloak and divert all power to the interface systems. Sarah didn't hesitate. Do it. Marcus, prepare to redirect power on my mark. All ships, concentrate fire on the support vessels. Phoenix Dawn will handle the flagship. The Phoenix Dawn's cloak fell away as they charged straight at the collective flagship. Enemy fire hammered their shields, but Sarah held course. Interface ready. Dr. Wong announced. If this works, we're not just going to stop their transmission, we're going to send our own message through their entire command network. Sarah smiled grimly. Send them our regards, Doctor. Let every collective ship in range know exactly what humanity thinks of their superiority. The quantum burst fired, but instead of a call for help, it carried a virus, a human creation designed to infect and corrupt the collective's rigid, predictable systems. Their own technology, turned against them by the very species they had dismissed as primitive. As the flagship systems began to fail, Sarah watched the remaining collective ships fall into disarray. On her tactical display, she could see escape pods launching from the enemy vessels, their crews abandoning ship as human-modified weapons tore through their defenses. "Status of the colony?" she demanded. "Ground defenses holding, Commander. The orbital bombardment has ceased." We actually did it." Sarah nodded, but she knew this was just the beginning. They had saved one colony, but the collective would adapt, slowly, rigidly, but they would adapt. Humanity would need to stay one step ahead, continue to innovate, to break rules that their enemies didn't even know could be broken. "Begin recovery operations," she ordered. "And download everything we can from their systems before they go dark. Every piece of collective tech we capture is another weapon they've handed us." The battle for Theta 7 was over, but the war continued. Humanity had proven once again that they weren't just survivors, they were innovators, adapters, and now, the nightmare that kept collective commanders awake at night. Echoes of defiance. The aftermath of Theta 7 spread through collective space like wildfire. The virus embedded in the quantum burst transmission had done more than just disable their ships, it had shattered their illusion of invincibility. But aboard the Phoenix Dawn, Sarah Chen knew the real battle was just beginning. "Play it again," she ordered, watching the intercepted collective transmission for the dozenth time. The holographic display showed chaos erupting across their carefully ordered society. The alien news broadcasts told the story: collective ships mysteriously shutting down, their rigid command protocols corrupted by human ingenuity. But more importantly, questions were being asked within the collective itself. Questions that their leadership couldn't answer. "They never expected this," Dr. Wong commented, studying the translations. "Their entire society is built on technological superiority. Now their own people are asking how a primitive species could do this to them." Marcus snorted from his engineering station. "Maybe they should have spent less time looking down on us and more time looking over their shoulders." Sarah watched as another report showed collective citizens protesting, something unprecedented in their history. The virus hadn't just infected their ships, it had infected their certainty. "Commander," Rodriguez called out, his voice urgent. "We're picking up something strange. Multiple ships dropping out of FTL at the edge of the system, but they're not moving to attack positions." Sarah leaned forward. "Collective signatures?" "Yes, but modified. They're broadcasting on our frequencies. They're asking to talk." The bridge fell silent. This was new. The collective never negotiated, they simply imposed their will on what they considered lesser species. "Put them through," Sarah ordered, straightening her uniform. "Let's hear what they have to say." The holographic display flickered, and Sarah found herself face to face with a collective ship commander. But something was different. The alien's usual ceremonial armor was absent, replaced by a simpler uniform. "Commander Chen," the alien spoke, its translator converting complex harmonics into human speech. "I am Rixtal of the Free Ships Movement. We need to talk." Sarah kept her expression neutral, but her mind raced with possibilities. About what, exactly? About how wrong we were. About everything. Rixtal's multifaceted eyes showed something Sarah had never seen in a collective officer before: uncertainty. "Your virus, it didn't just corrupt our systems. It showed us our own history. The truth about how the collective rose to power. The species we removed, because they didn't fit our vision of order." Dr. Wong stepped forward. "The virus contained more than just corrupt code. We embedded historical records, proof of the collective's actions throughout the galaxy. Things their own leadership had hidden from them." "Yes," Rixtal confirmed. "And now there are those among us who wish to choose a different path. We bring 30 ships, Commander Chen. 30 crews who want to fight alongside humanity, not against it. Sarah studied the alien commander carefully. This could be a trap, but it could also be exactly what they needed. The collective's greatest strength had always been their unity. If that was cracking. Your ships are still equipped with collective weapons and defenses, Sarah noted. How do we know this isn't an elaborate plan to infiltrate our fleet? Riksdal's response was immediate and unexpected. The alien commander raised their hands, showing they held a data crystal. Because we bring more than just ships, Commander Chen. We bring the command codes for the entire collective defense network. And we bring something else, something your Dr. Wong's virus helped us understand. And what's that? The ability to question. To think beyond our programming. Your species, you don't just adapt technology. You adapt ideas. You show that there are always other ways, other possibilities. The collective taught us that there was only one path to advancement. You proved that was a lie. Sarah glanced at her crew. Dr. Wong was already analyzing the transmitted data, while Marcus studied the modified collective ships with professional interest. Rodriguez kept his weapons locked on target, but his expression showed cautious optimism. If we accept your help, Sarah said carefully, you need to understand something. We're not fighting to join the collective. We're not fighting to reform it. We're fighting to ensure humanity's survival, on our terms. Riksdal's translator conveyed something that might have been a laugh. Commander Chen, after what your species has shown us, I don't think anyone will ever again make the mistake of trying to dictate terms to humanity. As the discussions continued, Sarah couldn't help but appreciate the irony. The collective had tried to exterminate humanity because they feared our unpredictability, our refusal to conform. Instead, they had created their own worst nightmare, a humanity that had mastered their technology and now threatened to revolutionize their entire society. Begin docking procedures, she finally ordered. But maintain battle readiness. Trust is earned, not given, even among revolutionaries. The Phoenix Dawn's bay doors opened to receive their first collective defectors. Whatever happened next, the war had entered a new phase. Humanity hadn't just survived, they had become a catalyst for change in a society that had forgotten how to evolve. Fires of change. The integration of collective defectors into the human fleet proved both challenging and enlightening. In the Phoenix Dawn's main hangar, Sarah watched as human engineers worked alongside their former enemies, breaking down and rebuilding collective technology with a freedom that clearly both thrilled and terrified their new allies. They're like children discovering that they're allowed to color outside the lines, Dr. Wong observed, watching a young collective engineer nearly vibrating with excitement as Marcus showed them how to bypass their ship's safety protocols. Just keep a close eye on them, Sarah cautioned. Enthusiasm is good, but we can't afford accidents. The ship shuddered slightly as another modified collective vessel docked. The Phoenix Dawn had become a hub of revolutionary activity, something Sarah found deeply ironic. Humanity, the supposed primitives, teaching their superior enemies how to think freely. Commander, Riksdal approached, their movements still stiff but less formal than before. We've completed the integration of our sensor networks. The results are unexpected. Sarah followed the alien commander to the tactical room, where a new holographic display showed a merged view of human and collective sensor data. The picture it painted was troubling. The collective leadership isn't just preparing for war, Riksdal explained, manipulating the display. They're scared. For the first time in their recorded history, they're facing an enemy they can't predict or control. Good, Sarah replied. Fear makes them sloppy. No, you don't understand. Riksdal's translator struggled to convey their urgency. They're bringing out weapons that were forbidden, technologies that were sealed away because they were deemed too dangerous even by collective standards. Dr. Wong studied the data with growing concern. These energy signatures, they're like nothing we've seen before. Because they're not collective technology, Rixtal revealed. They're remnants from civilizations the collective destroyed, technologies they couldn't control but couldn't risk leaving for others to find. Sarah felt a chill. And now they're desperate enough to use them. Exactly. But there's more. Rixtal hesitated. Some of these weapons, they were designed by your ancestors. The room fell silent. Sarah stared at the alien commander. Explain. Earth wasn't the collective's first contact with humanity. Thousands of years ago, they encountered human colonies on distant worlds, remnants of an ancient human civilization that reached the stars long before your recorded history. Those humans were different. Their technology was unpredictable, dangerous. The collective destroyed them and buried the truth. Marcus, who had joined them, whistled softly. So that's why they were so quick to try wiping us out. They knew what we could become. And now they'll use our ancestors' weapons against us, Sarah mused. Unless we get to them first, Dr. Wong finished, already running calculations. With our combined sensor networks, we might be able to locate these storage facilities. Rixtal nodded. My crews are already working to decode the sealed records. But we must hurry. The collective will expect us to make this move. Sarah studied the tactical display, her mind racing through possibilities. Then we'll do what humanity does best, we'll surprise them. Rixtal, how would the collective react if we attack their central command directly? They would consider it suicide. Their defensive networks are based on their technology, which we can now hack, Sarah interrupted. While they're preparing their doomsday weapons, expecting us to come searching for them. We hit them where they think they're strongest, Marcus grinned, catching on. Exactly. Dr. Wong, how long would it take to modify our virus to affect their entire command and control network? The scientist considered. With the help of our new allies, and the command codes they brought, maybe 48 hours? You have 24, Sarah decided. Rixtal, I need your crews to start modifying their ships for a mass shadowcast jump. We're going to show the collective leadership exactly why their ancestors feared humanity so much. As the preparations began, Sarah couldn't help but appreciate the symmetry. The collective had spent millennia burying the truth about humanity's potential, destroying evidence of what humans could achieve. Now, those same humans were teaching their descendants to think beyond the boundaries of what was supposed to be possible. Commander, Rodriguez called from the bridge. We're picking up multiple quantum burst transmissions. The collective is mobilizing their entire fleet. Sarah nodded. The endgame was beginning. Send word to all ships. Operation Prometheus begins in 24 hours. It's time to remind the galaxy that humanity didn't just survive, we evolved.